Welcome to 615 Local Live. Yes, we are live. Well, unless you're watching this on replay, then you don't get the whole live effect. So, hey, everybody. I want you to make sure you stay tuned for this show because we have the owner of Chomp Shop out of Nolensville, Tennessee. Chris is going to be coming in talking about his custom apparel and promotionals business, what it takes to kind of run that. Answer your question. So if you do have a question, please put that Q in front of your question, the Q and the colon, so I can see it because I'm partly blind. See this? So remember, ask your question. I'll try to get to them, bring them up on the screen, and we'll see see if Chris has got an answer for you. Well, Chris is also going to talk about what it means to him and his family for you to support local, because he is in the 615. He started this business during the pandemic of 2020. I have no idea who would want to start a business during June 2020. Oh, me. I did the same darn thing. I started this brand in the middle of 2020 because I knew it was a little unfair. The media attention was only really paying attention to downtown Nashville. I said, well, what about all these other communities? What about all these small businesses? All you care about is Broadway? No. We had to bring some attention to what was going on everywhere else. It was a little, I can't say I did anything that a local news station would do, but I wanted to do something to give back to my local communities in the 615. I'd get out there and drive around and see all these shut down businesses because they weren't essential. And it really touched my heart to know that those were affecting families in our local communities. So that's why I started this whole thing up. I wanted to bring attention and awareness to supporting local, as you see on my hat here, and taking care of our local communities and giving back to them. So, hey, what I want to know from you right now, though, put it in the comments. If you support a local business in the 615, let us know about it. Let us know where it is. Give us the location. If you're outside of the 615 and you just happen to be watching for some strange reason, because you might want to be coming and being a tourist around here, let us know that as well. And let us know what businesses in your area you support. So, like I said, my name, no, I did not even get my name yet, did I? My name is Dan Shaw. I'm your host. I am the founder of 615 Local. I run this under the LLC of Shaylin Media, and I'm out of the beautiful town of Pleasant View, Tennessee. I started this in the middle of 2020, like I said, just because I wanted to bring awareness to local businesses and the communities that they support. And that's 14 counties within the 615 area code. Why did I choose the whole area code? Because everybody knows 615. It's kind of popular. So Nashville made it popular, but it does touch more than just Davidson County and Nashville. So we want to support all of that. So 615 Local is about supporting local business and communities they serve. We educate and bring awareness to the public about supporting local here in the 615. All right. Yes, I read that. So we're going to get on to why we're really here today on our Meet the Owner segment. I want to talk to Chris, the owner of Chomp Shop. He has got a real passion for the custom apparel and promotional items business. I know this to be a fact because I work with him personally, and I have actually done some work with him, and he's helped bring our brand out a little bit more as well. So let me go ahead and bring Chris into the show. Hey, Chris, how you doing today?
Hey, doing great, Dan. How are you tonight?
I'm good, sir. Hey, I appreciate you being with us. I know you had like you said, you had some family stuff to do first before this show, and you kind of rushed home and tried to beat a storm, I hear, right?
Sure did. We had a soccer game for my oldest one, and they were in Franklin, and a storm was coming. So we got out of there and headed home to jump online and spend some time with you and the community members here at 615 Local.
I appreciate it very much. Now, your business and your family are both located in Nolensville, correct?
Correct. Located here in Nolensville, been here for about 4 years. Came from the Chicagoland area in the suburbs, and as you mentioned, opened the business about a year ago, June of 2020. Great time to open a business. There was nothing else going on anyway, so might as well kick off a business and see what happens.
That's right. Because not a better, that's the best time to open a business is right during a pandemic, right?
Sure is. Sure is.
Hey, so explain to us, give us like this 500-foot view of what Chomp Chomp really is, and what you actually produce there.
Yeah. So Chris Ciampi, so Chomp Shop. So the last name, if y'all were wondering, on my hat there, if you could see Chomp Shop. So the last name is just kind of
If it'll come in focus, there we go.
There it is. Yep.
Get my big fat finger out of the way, and that would probably. There we go.
So the business name really just came off a play of kind of the last name, and as you mentioned, a custom apparel and promotional products business. So really, we do anything from screen printing, direct to garment printing, embroidery on the apparel side, and I'm sure we'll get into kind of what that is and what that looks like. Promotional products, when you talk about mugs and cups, pens, right, koozies, business cards, backpacks, tote bags. Those types of things. We also do any print media, so banners and signs, right? Vehicle wraps. It's again, not to say one-stop shop, very cliche, but it's kind of what it is. We try to do as much as we can for a business, whether you're just starting off the business and you need some business cards and some apparel and some pens and things to hand out to customers, or you're an established business and you're like, hey, we need to rebrand a little bit and we want to maybe change up our logo or design or kick up our marketing efforts and that type of thing. So, we'll help with all those things as much as we can. And, we love working with businesses and customers and, bringing those designs to life and helping people, build those brands. I think one of those things, and, you mentioned that we did some work together. Online stores is another thing that, we do a bunch of, and it's great for, we've done a couple for the schools. Working with 615 Local to do one as well. Basically, right, go online, shop through your items through an e-commerce platform or website, right? Orders all get done. They funnel through me. We process, print the orders, and send them out. So, for schools, for sports teams, for walkathons, charity events, they're an amazing tool to kind of get rid of the middleman and keep the individual that is always trying to collect emails, collect money, try and find people and get shirt sizes and that kind of stuff. Cut that all out, goes right through me at Chomp Shop. I get all the questions. I can work with your customers, clients, whoever it may be, and get you guys what you need. So that's really what we do. Again, love working with businesses and individuals and companies to again promote their brands and really try to make them stand out a little bit more than they are today.
Well, I brought up on the screen shop.615local.co. I know you have helped me get this brand out there a little bit more with these shirts. These are available on shop615local.co. And as Chris said, he actually set up that e-commerce for us because I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to mess with it. I didn't want to deal with the taxes.
Agreed.
I was like, you take care of all of it, give us our cut or help us hold that to a side so we can get some more promotional items. As swag, as I like to call it.
Right.
But anyway, we appreciate you doing that. And hopefully some people get out there and buy some darn shirts here real soon.
That's right. That's right. It's out there.
We put a lot of time and effort into this, and you want to support local? Well, start right here. We'd appreciate it. At the bottom of the screen also, you will see Chris's website for Chomp Chomp, which we got up on the screen here now. So, man, I'll tell you what, I went through this site today, Chris, and I was pretty impressed. The one area I was really impressed in is all of your recent projects, but we're going to get into that a little bit more later, but I definitely want to talk about it. Yeah. But first, though, I want to know what kind of information do you typically need from a new customer? They come to you. They don't really know what to say or they don't understand the lingo yet. Mm-hmm. How do you kind of work with them to bring out what they need?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, it's no different than a lot of processes or a lot of things that you may see, right? We'll ask some questions and kind of get to know, what are you looking for? Do you have an idea of what you're looking for? And that's completely okay. We have plenty of customers that come to us and say, I don't really know what I want. I don't really know where to start, or I have a general idea, but I'm not 100% sure what I want it to look like. And then we have other customers that come to us and say, hey, I need 50 shirts. They're black. They're a white print. Here's the sizing and I need them by this date. Like, that's cool too. We can work with both those individuals, but generally, if you have an idea of kind of what shirt type you're looking for, are you looking for just a basic kind of giveaway t-shirt for a charity event, a walkathon, that type of thing? Is it a sports team? Are you looking for like a polyester shirt? Is it business apparel? Is it a polo or a jacket or a quarter zip or something like that? Is it a t-shirt? Do you like a softer, more comfortable kind of blended t-shirt, right? Do you like an old school kind of more traditional cotton shirt? So we'll talk through some of that information, kind of figure out what you need, quantity, how many, is it one? Is it 100? Is it 1,000? How many do you need? When do you need them by? What's the date that you need those shirts by? What's the expectation, for us to get that stuff done? Designs, logo, what's going on the shirt or the apparel? Do you have one? Great. If you don't, we can help too. We can help design a logo. We can put some ideas together for you. Do you know how you want it printed? Again, if you're doing a polo, most of the polos and hats and those types of things are done through embroidery. You can screen print on them. Many of the times it's embroidery. Are you doing a t-shirt? Okay, t-shirts generally screen printed. Again, you can embroider on those. Generally it's screen printing, right? So what's the end goal? Where are we trying to get with your project? And how can we help achieve that for you? So also on our website, you can go to the website. There's 2 supplier catalogs that are on there. Those 2 supplier catalogs probably carry a good 95+% of the things that we offer. They are daunting. So if you said, hey, I want to look through the catalogs, they're probably 600 to 800 pages a piece. So you can do that and spend some time going through the catalogs and search for certain things. Or you can say, you know what, Chris, I don't really have the time. Can you give me a couple suggestions and kind of let's keep going with it? And that's cool too. So we try to customize every solution to our customers to fit their need in whatever they're looking for.
So that sounds like a lot of information, but what I'm hearing really in the overall tone is come to me with whatever you got, and we'll start from wherever you are and work forward. So don't be intimidated by not understanding the lingo, not understanding the jargon or the business, because it's not their business to really understand it anyway. It's yours.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if they want to get their brand out there, you got multiple ways to help them do that, so. Definitely. Yes. It's completely customizable. You can know as much as you want or as little as you want, right? It's completely up to you. And it's, we're going to make the process as easy as we can for you from start to finish. That's awesome. So, hey, tell me, what kind of design questions are typical ones that you get? And, what are some answers you can give to those now?
Yeah.
We'll just say your top 3, maybe.
Top 3. I would say, the biggest one that we get is kind of, hey, I have an idea, or I drew this on a piece of paper kind of thing. Like, I don't really know what is it going to look like or how does it look, that type of thing. So that's the biggest one. A lot of design questions we'll get. The other one is I mentioned it too, but how would this look? So I have this logo. How would it look on a black t-shirt, on a white t-shirt, on a green t-shirt, right? We can do some mock-ups. We can put them on hats. We can put them on shirts. And kind of show you what it would look like real life, to at least give you an idea of, hey, this is what I like, or this is, what I'm looking for. And I'd say, honestly, those are probably the 2 biggest ones. The thing we do have to avoid sometimes and just watch is, a lot of people see a design online that they really, really like, which is okay. But a lot of times designs online are other people's designs, right? So we can't, take those designs and print them. So we got to watch copyrights and trademarks and things like that, right? I can't put a Nike logo on a shirt and sell it, right? It's pretty simple. So, so we can definitely take your ideas that you find online. We just got to be cautious of kind of where they come from and stuff like that. So a lot of it's just educating individuals on things they see, online or on different platforms and stuff like that.
I remember when we sat down and we talked about, these shirts or the design that I kind of wanted, I told you that, I want to make sure everybody's represented, all these counties are represented, but we want to be the hub of it. And you sat there and listened to me babble on probably for about 45 minutes. I think we did it over a couple of beers at Mill Creek, if I remember right.
Sure is.
Then we met later up at another place and kind of hashed that a little. You had brought me my first samples, We had a couple of corrections to make.
Yep.
It happens.
Yep.
But what I want people to understand is you don't get that by ordering off of some big business online that's out of California or out of Mexico or even somewhere else overseas. You don't get that kind of personalized service that you do from Chris, and sitting down and being able to let him understand what your real goal is. And he sat there and listened to me, and he nailed it. He after a couple of just revisions, we were able to nail it what we want. Now we might revise a little bit more later as the brand grows and we want more kind of apparel out there and more branding and so forth. But what I'm saying is it's nice to have somebody that's local that you can sit down and actually talk to and takes you seriously instead of trying to type it all into some web form and them trying to understand what you want. So, hey, when it comes to brands nowadays, we're talking about brands of apparel. How more aware are your customers nowadays of what's out there, and you're getting asked these questions?
I'd say extremely aware. When you go into a retail location or you Google a t-shirt and stuff like that, you're seeing a lot of shirts that used to be, call it wholesale exclusive kind of shirts, right? Name brands. Bella Canvas is one. Next Level is another. I mention those to people now and they're like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Whereas, I know friends that are in the apparel business that have been in it for a while, right? 5, 7, 10 years ago, nobody really knew those brands. They weren't out there as much. So the consumer is definitely more aware of what they like, shirts they've felt or they've put on or gotten before that they enjoy. So that does help the conversation a lot, is having individuals come to me and say, hey, here's the tag. This is the exact shirt I want. This is the feel that I like. This is the size that fits me really well, right? Because every shirt's going to fit a little bit different at times, right? Some people prefer a slimmer fitting, a more relaxed fitting, right? Some people are taller. They want a tall shirt, a long shirt. But yeah, definitely I'd say more aware than I would say in years past, just knowing what brands are out there, and you can get these brands pretty much anywhere nowadays.
Well, now that we're talking all these brands, obviously with the whole pandemic thing still somewhat going on, obviously even in your business, you're probably having some sourcing issues as well, right?
Definitely. Supply chain has been a bit of a struggle. Last year towards the close of 2020, as the cooler weather started to come in, hoodies were impossible to find. So hooded sweatshirts, right? Those kinds of things just completely almost disappeared. And, we started to kind of pick back up, get ourselves put back together, and it started to experience again in the kind of spring and summer. Hats are a big one right now. Most of our very popular hats, Flex Fit is one that everybody probably knows, or Richardson might be a brand that a lot of people know. You can't get them right now. Tank tops, another summer item, right? Hard to get tank tops right now. So definitely seeing some supply chain challenges, talking to our account reps as much as possible to kind of understand what's going on and where things are at. But you do spend a lot more time sourcing inventory than definitely I did when I first started the business, where, I could go in and say, all right, hey, I needed 300 shirts, boom, 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 no problem. I'll get them from one supplier. Now I get some from one supplier, some from another, maybe one from another, or I have to back order it and wait. So it does provide some difficult conversations at times with customers, trying to get those products in as quickly as possible.
Well, one thing I know, if you probably did this on an automated site online, and if they just couldn't get the product, they're just going to send you an email, say out of stock. They're not going to work with you and say, look, we got this other brand. It might not be exactly the same feel, but if you want, we can definitely get this in now. That's what I like about working with somebody locally, because you get that one-on-one attention still, even though this is unfortunately a logistics nightmare right now for anybody across the board. I got a friend that's got a coffee business, and he's having a hard time getting cups the right size right now.
That's right.
So, it's affecting everybody. So, obviously, if you're dealing with a business like this, just remember, you got to have patience, folks. We are all trying to do our best right now with a huge supply chain nightmare. So.
It is. Yeah. And as you mentioned, alternative brands is a big one. There's a handful out there that, will make a similar color, similar style and that kind of stuff. So, and that's our best avenues right now to kind of, make sure that the customer is satisfied at the end of the day. But even those get challenging too at times. So it's, sometimes it's a circus, but it works out at the end.
So, hey, now explain to us what actual sizing and style means and why it's important to understand what that is.
So I think, from the aspect of sizing, when you talk about kind of what size, youth, adult, ladies, unisex, tall, right? There is sizes all over the place, right? It's almost like going to buy a pair of jeans, right? You go buy a pair of jeans and you have different cuts in the jeans, different styles of the jeans, right? The apparel is no different. So I definitely encourage people to, hey, if you have a brand that you've had success with or that felt really good or fit really good, keep an eye on it. Send me a picture of the tag. They're all going to unfortunately fit a little bit different. They're going to have a little bit of a different feel to it depending on the material, right? If it's cotton polyester, 100% polyester, Nike, off-brand, right? They're just going to fit and be a little bit different. And, we encourage a lot of people to do that. I have some samples, that I can provide and help some people with, that I can say, hey, here's how this looks. Here's how this feels. Touch it, see if you like it. Sizing charts. So all of our vendors online, I can get a sizing chart if they say, hey, I want a large in this. Here's kind of the sizing breakdown that'll show, here's how big a small is, here's how big a medium is, a large is. And I give that to people a lot of times too, especially if they're doing kind of widespread events where they're maybe the middle person and they're sending information back to people and people are trying to make decisions on, do I get a large or an extra large, right? Those often can help out when people make those decisions. So we try to give people as much information as they can to make a good decision on the size, the style, the fit that they want. But ultimately it's one of those things. If you find a good brand that you really like it, stick with it, be consistent.
So a medium is not a medium all the way across the board, is it?
Not always, unfortunately. Nope. It's, I wish it was, but different manufacturers, where it's manufactured, right? A lot of these, shirts and stuff are manufactured overseas at, different countries and stuff like that. So they're just going to be made a little bit differently. And that's just one of those things, but that's not specific to, just shirts. Like I mentioned, that's kind of the apparel business overall. A lot of those things are going to fit differently and be a little bit different across the board.
So, hey, now I want to talk about the actual printing process. I know there's many types of ways of printing nowadays than there was even probably 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So what do you offer at Chomp Shop, and what are the differences and advantages of each?
Yeah, so I'd say a couple of the most popular that everybody's probably most familiar with. I'll start with screen printing. Screen printing, silk screening, right, has been around the longest. I think it's been around for about 100 years or more. So been around for a really, really long time. It's a very traditional process. Basically uses a screen, right, that's got little tiny holes in it, and it uses what they call plastisol ink, right? So the ink is basically pushed through that fine little mesh screen onto the shirt. The shirt is dried, and now you have a screen printed piece of apparel. You get very vibrant colors. It's going to last a really long time, probably one of the longest lasting designs that you can do. Oftentimes, if you take care of it, it's going to last longer than the shirt. So you can print on almost any material, your shirts, sweatpants, canvas bags, that kind of stuff. So it's very versatile in how you're going to print. You can do different types of ink now. You have metallics, you have glow in the dark, and that sort of thing. So you can get kind of creative with how you want to do it, but very traditional and works great for larger kind of bulk orders, right? So our minimum quantity for screen printing generally is 24 pieces. You can mix and match that across the board of short sleeve, long sleeve, tank tops, so on and so forth. Colors you can mix and match, but we want to get to that 24 because that's when it's kind of cost effective for us to do.
I was going to ask you real quick, how How many times can you use the same screen on a garment?
You can use multiple times. So we've kind of had repeat orders and that kind of stuff that we've used multiple times. At some point, depending on what we're doing, we might have to just redo all the screens because we have gone through and cycled through and that kind of stuff. So it just kind of depends, workflow and stuff like that. But any of the orders, larger orders is really good for screen printing, big bulk orders, stuff like that. The one thing I will say about screen printing, color impacts cost more than anything. So if you have a logo and design that's a one color, right? Basically think about that shirt gets printed once. If you have a 4-color design, that shirt gets printed basically 4 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you order 100 shirts, that's 100 prints for us in a 1-color design. If you ordered 100 shirts in a 4-color design, that's 400 prints because we got to layer each color kind of individually, right? So a little bit of education on the screen printing process, and as those colors increase, price of the garment, or not really garment necessarily, but price of the apparel is going to increase because of just the amount of labor that's put into it. So that's screen printing in a nutshell. What that process is and what it looks like.
Do you need a certain, I guess, weight or I don't even know what to call it, texture of a shirt to allow screen printing?
Not really. Screen printing, like I said, is very versatile. You're going to be able to print on almost any material, whether it's a cotton shirt, a blend shirt, a tri-blend shirt, a polyester shirt, like a sports shirt. We've printed on polos before, canvas bags, obviously hoodies and tank tops and those types of things. So super versatile. You can print on pretty much anything.
All right. So what other processes? I know there's embroidery out there.
Yep.
What you've talked about a little bit already. What other processes are available for printing?
Yeah, I'll talk about embroidery. Embroidery is probably the next most popular one that we see. Hats, polos, backpacks, those types of things. You'll see a lot of embroidery. Embroidery is really, at the end of the day, a needle and thread. Used on a machine nowadays, as opposed to probably hand sewn back in the day. But a machine basically takes your apparel, needle and thread. You got black, you got yellow, and you got white. And that needle and thread is going to go around your logo and basically stitch that logo into a shirt, a hat, so on and so forth. It, again, very versatile, works on a wide range of items. You'll see it, again, mostly on hats, polos probably, from a business apparel perspective and everything like that. Jackets, that kind of stuff that you'll see, extremely long lasting because it basically becomes a piece of that apparel. That needle and thread goes through a backing on your shirt. It's going to be stuck to that shirt. You're really not going to be able to, pick at it and pull it apart and that kind of stuff. So it's very long lasting. It gives it a nice professional look, which I think is why a lot of businesses go with the embroidered method. It just looks very professional, on that. So a couple things with embroidery, really the only thing that we see that provides some challenges sometimes with embroidery, very small, intricate designs get difficult just because of, again, you got a needle and thread. So if you got a little bitty circle or anything like that, that needle and thread is just not going to be able to make a really small, intricate design. And anything with gradients. So if you got kind of a color that is a blue to a light blue as it kind of fades through the logo, a gradient is going to be nearly impossible because that needle and thread is either blue or light blue. There's no kind of in between, and you can't shade and things like that. But there are ways around that we can work with you on if you do have some of those shading and gradients and things like that. But that's embroidery. Again, probably the second most popular thing that we offer. The next couple things that I'll talk about is one is direct to garment. Direct to garment really at the end of the day is similar to screen printing, although it uses a machine that looks probably very similar to the printer you have in your house. It's just much larger. It's kind of an industrial size printer, so it can fit shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, so on and so forth into the machine. It uses a water-based ink, so a little bit different than the screen printing. It uses a plastisol ink. So when you feel a screen printed shirt, it's going to feel a little thicker print on that. A direct to garment shirt is going to feel very kind of thin and not quite as thick as that screen printed shirt because of those water-based inks. Why would someone go with direct to garment? A couple different reasons. There's no minimum quantities. So if you just started a business, or if you have only a couple employees, or for myself, you're the only employee, right? Getting to 24 shirts can be a challenge to hit that minimum quantity for screen printing. So we can do direct to garment printing, 1 shirt, 3 shirts, 5 shirts, doesn't really matter what that quantity is. Another thing for the direct to garment process is colors don't matter. So since it is basically using CMYK from a printer, it can get to thousands of colors without a problem. Whereas screen printing is a little bit different in your colors because you only have so many options, right? So if you have a high detailed design, or a design with a lot of colors, you're talking 8, 10, 12 colors in that design, screen printing is going to be a challenge, and it could be very expensive. So direct to garment is definitely the way to go. Downsides to that, it is a little bit newer to the industry. I'd say probably about 20 years old or so. So it hasn't quite figured out all the materials and all the versatility that you'll get with embroidery or screen printing. So a lot of the shirts that you'll print with direct to garment are cotton, a little bit of cotton polyester. But if you're looking for like a 100% polyester kind of athletic shirt, or any like a workout shirt, that kind of stuff, direct to garment is not going to be able to fulfill that for you. So companies are working on it. They're trying to get better with it. It's just not quite there with that water-based ink. So that's the other process that we can do for you, is direct to garment. Last one that I'll talk about, heat press. So heat press printing or vinyl printing. Easiest way to explain this one: you got a softball team, you got a baseball team, you got a kids soccer team. Everyone's got their name and number on the back of the jersey. A lot of that is just heat press vinyl. So you get the vinyl, you get the last name, Ciampi, you get numbers 1 and 0, right? You put it on the heat press, clamp the heat press down for a handful of seconds, and then boom, you're done. So it is something that we offer. If people want some jerseys for their kids or for their softball team or anything like that, we can help put names and numbers on the back of those. Those are, I would say, the 4 most popular. They're the 4 that we offer to do. There are other methods of printing that can be done, but we just don't offer those at this time. So
that pretty probably handles 99% of your customer base.
Correct.
Anyway, correct?
Yes, it does. Yep, it's going to handle pretty much everything.
I know one thing that you probably deal with a lot, other than pricing and design and all that, is how fast are they going to get their product?
Mm-hmm.
What's your norm? What we'll say, obviously quantity matters here. Normal production time, once design, sizing, style, and printing options are all worked out and decided, what can a customer normally expect before they start seeing product?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our normal expectations for customers after kind of goods receipt with final proof approval, everything's ready to go, green lights in. Once we get those goods, I tell everybody 2 weeks is kind of our expectation. Unless there's something big going on, we got a bunch of large orders kind of jamming up our printers and processes and things like that. 2 weeks is kind of what we try to stick to at all costs. We try to get you your stuff as quickly as possible. We have done projects where a customer says, hey, I need this really quick. We can do some rush jobs and rush projects. Not my preference, just because it's a rush job, right? There's a lot of pressure trying to get things out as quickly as possible, and just trying not to make sure we have really high quality expectations. Our customers are happy with everything. But if you need something quicker, definitely worth a conversation. We'd love to try and help you out as much as we can. But generally 2 weeks is the turnaround time that we try to stick to as much as we can.
All right. Well, awesome. I've been always satisfied how quick you've been able to get us product. And I know I'm sometimes onesie twosies from you, as we call print on demand there, but it's like, most of mine is just promotional, just giveaways and so forth, or a guest come on the show, and I definitely want them to have a shirt, and
that's right,
because I want them to promote it on social media.
There you go.
It helps out the brand, and a lot of times they'll post it. So I appreciate you working with us all the time, and it's definitely with my onesie twosies that I need every now and then.
Yeah, no problem. And we know that's just as important to individuals as the 500 pieces or the 150 or the 200. So we don't treat them any different. We're going to treat your small order just as important as your larger order, because we know that it's for you. It's for something. It means something. So we're going to try and get that to you as quickly as possible either way.
Well, hey, Chris, I'm going to bring up this screen here, and I want you to talk to us. I mean, there's a lot going on here, but I know you've dealt with a lot of local businesses within the Nolensville area. We'll say even Murfreesboro, Brentwood, and so forth. Maybe even down to Franklin. Tell us, just some ones you want to bring out and highlight a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of local businesses opening up in Nolensville. This kind of looking back at this and looking at the showcase a little bit before the call kind of brought in a bunch of things that I don't want to say I forgot about, but you kind of forget, like, oh wow, like in the past year we've helped a lot of local businesses. You see Mill Creek Brewery there. They're a local brewery here in Nolensville. Just to the right of that was Ben's Barbecue, was a charity event that we helped out locally for a family here, was at Mill Creek Brewery. Arrington Fire and Rescue is in there, so I had the opportunity to help out with some fire jackets for those folks. Definitely appreciate all the work that they do, to help keep our community safe and things like that. So that's been really good. Cars and Coffee is in there. Support the Cars and Coffee community with their apparel. Definitely have had a lot of good business from the Cars and Coffee community. Velocity Motorsports in Nashville, is a big one that they've had a lot of apparel, was able to help out the ROTC program in Cincinnati. They'll see the Bearcat logo in there. With that. So, and then just some general contractors. So Mill Creek Home Services, Case Construction, Fowler Farms. I don't think I have any of their information or pictures on there. Mid-Ted Plumbing, a lot of just local businesses, some local sports teams and apparel that we've had the opportunity to help out. Nolensville Sports Arena, Film Vehicle Services, Mad Joe Roasters is a coffee roaster company. Extreme Party Nashville, which I know is a member of the 615 local community. So big shout out to those guys that have helped out. Body by Chase is a trainer here in Nolensville. Been able to do some apparel for him. Hillside Nutrition, another one. So I'm sure there's a handful that I'm forgetting, and I don't mean to forget anybody, but the local support here in Nolensville has been awesome. Definitely great to work with a lot of local businesses, and help them kind of bring some ideas to life, get some apparel going, and get their team or the individuals kind of set up for some swag and looking good.
Well, hey, wow, I'm going to be honest with you. That's a lot of businesses. And you've only been open a year and a couple of months. I mean, that's amazing how much business you've able to produce by yourself and get the product out, get it sourced, and get the product out the door at the same time. I don't know how you do it without 6 other people. So
it's been a fun ride. Definitely, put a lot of work and energy into it, but it's been awesome. Met a ton of great people, a lot of great business owners, a lot of great individuals that have supported the brand and, helped me build it and everything like that. So it's been amazing. I truly enjoy, meeting individuals and business owners and talking through their needs and, getting them hooked up with whatever they can. It's been great.
Well, hey, you already brought up the, I'm always going to mess this up, Cars and Coffee. I always want to say coffee and cars.
Right.
For some reason, coffee first and then cars.
That's right.
But Cars and Coffee. Tell us how you kind of got involved in that and what is your position with them?
Yeah. So Cars and Coffee, after I started the business, Cars and Coffee was a page, on Facebook that I followed for quite a while, had been to the events, grew up kind of a car guy around cars and vehicles. So I can thank my dad for that, kind of growing up around that, type of environment and car shows and things like that. And, when I started the business, knowing that Cars and Coffee was pretty big in Nashville, I figured, hey, they probably have someone that they're working with already on merch and apparel, but you know what, let's shoot my shot. Let's throw it out there and kind of reach out to these guys. And I reached out to them. And at the time, they were actually looking for someone to help with some embroidery. They had someone that was doing some screen printing for them, but they said, hey, we've been looking for someone to help do some hats for us. Would you be willing to do some hats? And, we had a couple conversations and built some rapport and built a relationship with those guys and got some design ideas together with them. And and started off doing some hats. We had the first show with them in, I think it was August of 2020, that we had our first Chomp Shop kind of cars and coffee show. And we brought about 50 hats to the show. And it was an awesome turnout. A lot of great feedback from the customers. The show starts at 8 o'clock. We got there at about 5:30 to start setting up. And I would say by about 7:30, 8 o'clock, we were almost sold out of hats. There was definitely a huge demand for hats, and that what people were looking for with cars and coffee swag and logos and everything like that. So the two individuals, that run it, as we've continued to kind of build the relationship over the next few months, got into the embroidery, and then it started to transition into the apparel. The individual that they were working with just wasn't working out anymore for whatever reason. And they said, hey, do you want to start doing some screen printing and kind of take over the rest of the apparel for us? And of course, I was honored and was super excited about the opportunity to work with Cars and Coffee again to support the community, give the individuals that show up the first Saturday of every month kind of some new gear, some new ideas, some new logos. They've been great about giving us some design freedom and saying, hey, you can change our logo, you can do different logos, you can do different things. We're completely supportive of what you want to do and have some creative freedom to kind of do whatever you want. So we've been able to kind of alter the logo and give some people some really cool designs. I think you had it up there on the Instagram. We did kind of a G.I. Joe theme type design, that looked a little bit of a throwback to like a G.I. Joe logo. So that hit with a lot of that kind of, my age group kind of deal that, was around with G.I. Joes and that kind of stuff when we were younger. We have a new design that I'm not going to tell any about it at this time, but it'll be coming up next week at the show. And I think a very similar kind of nostalgic design that once people see it, they'll be like, yep, I know exactly where that is. And, I know what I was doing when kind of that was going on or whatever. So it'll bring back some good memories for people. But the relationship with them has been great. Car community supports car community, and I've gotten a lot of business referrals and just been able to meet some great people. Got to do some shirts for the Nashville Super Speedway reopening, which was an awesome experience. To help create and design and then print some shirts that were given to influencers to kind of promote the event and everything like that. So it's opened a lot of doors for the business for me. And it's been good to just meet some people and again, have that creative freedom to do some designs and have fun.
That's great, man. That's how actually I had found you. I went down there. I love cars too. A lot of times I don't be able to speak all that lingo, but I was impressed how many cars they can get into that lot. I mean, they fill that AMC theater.
Yeah, correct.
There in Franklin. So first Saturday of every month, Cars and Coffee down in Franklin. You just follow the cars, you'll find it. Yep. I mean, it's not hard to find. Now they do it every Saturday, but the first Saturday of the month is the real big one, and you're really the one you show up for the most, right?
Yeah. We support the first Saturday events. The other Saturday events are a little bit smaller. Definitely still exciting. Still a bunch of cars. I've gone to a handful of those. More as just a spectator. It is, I would say, the only drawback of being at the first Saturday show is I never get to walk around and kind of see the cars and enjoy it. So I'm stuck to their Facebook Live video as they walk through and kind of promote the cars and the vehicles out there. But the first Saturday is the big show, and I would just say if you're bringing a car, get there early. If you're spectating, probably get there early too, because parking and the parking lot is going to fill up quickly.
Definitely so. I've always been impressed how much they can bring into that. Now they've been doing it a few years, so obviously they know what they're doing and they know how to draw that crowd in. So, hey, we're going to kind of switch gears here a little bit because this, all about supporting local. And you and your family live in Nolensville. So give us an idea of some places around your community that you like to support that are local businesses.
Yeah, I know some of the local businesses, that I've either worked with or we like to support. Mill Creek Brewery is definitely one that we go to. It's a great place, obviously not just to have a beer, but relax. You can bring kids, It's a very kid-friendly environment. They've done a nice job. They got TVs. It's a good hangout there. Kind of nighttime. Yeah, great food. Great
and
food.
I don't want to call that a food truck inside there. It looks like a food RV, right?
It is.
It's a food RV.
It's like a mini RV. Yes.
That's inside the building. It ain't in the parking lot, folks. It's actually inside the building. That's, not too many times you're going to see that.
Yeah, super cool environment, across from there, or just kind of across from there. If you're looking for kind of a night hangout, with some bands and music as well. Wheeler's Raid Distillery is a great spot there. They do their own bourbon and whiskey, which you'll find in retail locations as well. But they have kind of a bar and a hangout, and again, some music and everything like that. So those are great places. You get to go, restaurants kind of downtown Nolensville. Amico's pizza place, Wings to Go is a great wings place. Birdie's for breakfast. If you're looking for like a great breakfast place that just has some really cool breakfasts, there's Birdie's, there's Mama Java's, there's Just Love. Those are great. Hillside Nutrition makes kind of nutritional and energy teas along with 31A. They're both located in Nolensville. Fantastic for that type of environment and just some healthy shakes and teas and that kind of stuff. If you're looking for more kind of Southern type of stuff, Martin's Barbecue is in Nolensville. So if I recall or understand, I think the original is started in Nolensville, or maybe second or location or whatever it was. But yeah, so there's Martin's Barbecue. There's Outlanders, which does a Southern chicken, a very similar.
They have amazing chicken.
They do. It's
good God.
Unbelievable.
I kind of miss living close to that area just because of that location. So.
Yep. Super good. Saturday mornings, we'll find ourselves down at the Nolensville Farmers Market. It's every Saturday. A lot of local vendors down there selling, various things, whether it be, coffee or, steaks and cow. I don't want to say cows, but steaks and, ground beef and chicken and that kind of stuff as well, along with just some very cool, kind of knickknacks and decorations and that kind of stuff that you'll see. So, I think a lot of the downtown Nolensville area, again, when you get to like the Nolensville Feed Mill, kind of an old school look to it, definitely has some good sandwiches. My daughter loves their pasta and everything like that you get in there. They have some frozen entrees. Again, I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff in there, but it is packed full with a bunch of really, really cool shops. I don't do as much shopping on the retail side as probably my wife does. So she could probably talk to you more about some of the shops and boutiques and stuff downtown Nolensville, but they have a ton of stuff, and it's only continuing to grow. So it's cool to see it grow and, be a part of supporting that business in Nolensville as they continue to grow.
Well, what I wanted people to hear is you are a local entrepreneur in Nolensville. You have your business there, but you also, the money that's coming into your business, some of it's going back out into your local community.
Agreed.
With your family, and even if your wife's shopping locally or whatever. That's what I want people to understand. When you shop and support local, that's a lot of that money stays local. Mm-hmm. Obviously you got to source materials from all over the world probably, but when the money that you're using to support your family and so forth, a lot of it is staying local. And that's Definitely. What I want people to understand and hear. So that helps support your local community. It helps also bring in more jobs. Mm-hmm. If he's going down to Martin's Barbecue and eating with his family, so is other people. That's going to provide a job for somebody that can be a wait staff or a cashier or somebody on the phones taking orders. Because I know if you work at Martin's, you're busy all the time.
Definitely.
I believe they just moved to a new location about a year ago, correct?
They did. Yeah, they did. They moved kind of across to just a bigger location, kind of outgrowing the space they had there. So it's a great spot. They got kind of some garage doors that they can open up. Not right now because it's 95 and, super crazy hot. So no one wants the garage doors open. But, in the fall and spring, I mean, it's a great place to kind of hang out and have some barbecue, have a beer and relax.
Great. Well, no matter where you live, let's try to go out and support local businesses, everybody in your area. Hey, Chris, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man because you're a one-man operation, but you're getting it done. And we
Thanks.
we see that with all the different designs and brands that you've gotten out there within a year and a couple of months, which I'm pretty blown away by. I did not realize you had done that much business already. So I was like, thought I was your number one customer.
Right. Everybody's my number one customer. That's for sure.
I was like, now I feel bad when I bug you a lot.
No, not at all. Not at all. No one's ever a bother. That's for sure.
Well, thanks again, Chris. Thanks again for coming on. And I'm looking really forward what's going to happen in the future, especially with our relationship and being able to keep growing 615 local and as well as your brand as well, because we're always going to support you and what you got going on down there in Nolensville. So appreciate your time, man.
Thanks. I really appreciate being on tonight. And thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one, Chris.
All right. Thanks. You too.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining. Let me get this big old banner right out of the front of my face. You know, I do want you to see it though, because if you want to support what we're doing, shop615local.co, that also supports Chomp because we are sourcing all of our shirts and all of our apparel, which I'm hoping to add more to that line. I got to sit down and talk to Chris a little bit more and see what we can work out and design wise, and hopefully to bring out a little bit more to get the 615 local brand out there, because the more we get it out there, the more it will help bring attention and awareness to local businesses and communities in the 615. So always think local, support local, shop local, eat local, and as always, drink local. So I want to thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe if you're on YouTube. I think that's, I always forget where to point. I think over here. Yeah, right down in here. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. It'll say subscribe on the YouTube side of things. I'm not sure I think we did not hit Facebook tonight. I know we hit Twitter, but Facebook decided not to work tonight. So that usually is about a 50-50 chance of that happening. So anyway, thanks for watching again. I hope you subscribe to our channel so you can learn about more businesses in the 615, and have a good night, everybody.